What's going on? My name is David Page. My wife Stephanie and I work as musicians on board cruise ships. Right now Stephanie and I are between contracts, and so we're here with our son in Guatemala, enjoying a beautiful vacation and all that nature has to offer here. Most of the time here in Guatemala, it's been beautiful and sunny, and we've been able to do some really incredible adventures. We've visited thermal pools, we've gone cliff jumping, we've hiked volcanoes. It's so beautiful and it's so green, and every day there's hours and hours and hours of beautiful sunshine, but it rains really hard here. Let me show you a little bit of what we've been up to. It's about 11 o'clock at night, and we are at La Aurora, Guatemala City International Airport, and we are about to head back to Chicago, and none of us are quite ready to leave yet. So I wanted to kind of go over some of my thoughts and some of my favorite moments of this trip and share those with you. Thank you. Sharing is caring. Since Stephanie and I work on cruise ships for a large percentage of the year, but we have this time between contracts, it's so important to us to spend really great quality time with Ben. And to be able to do that and to be able to take him on this incredible adventure just meant the world to us, and it meant the world to him. We spent the first 4 days of our trip here in Guatemala hanging out in Antigua, and this city is incredible. One of my favorite days in Antigua was when we went to Habatanango. This is a beautiful, picturesque little town that they built to look like Hobbiton, but it's in the mountains near Antigua.
You hear the music?
Yeah. Hobbiton music.
They have this really cool swing setup, and they hook you into a harness, and I don't know, in the States you do like a countdown or they tell you when they're gonna do something, but they hooked me up to this harness, and then all of a sudden I'm lifted up and the floor is gone, and they just let me go. There's also this photo opportunity on something that they call the Giant's Hand. We love getting the chance to walk out onto this and just feel like we were up over the clouds and on top of the world. Stephanie and I also did a lot of research to figure out all of these different ruins and parks and stuff like that that were around Antigua, and we gave ourselves our own tour using an app called GPS My City, so thank you to Travis for the tip on that one. After our 4 nights in Antigua, we got on a shuttle and we traveled to Lake Atitlan, where we stayed in a city called San Pedro. San Pedro is a city that sits at the foot of San Pedro volcano, right on Lake Atitlan. We had this amazing guided tour as we hiked all the way to the top of San Pedro volcano, and it took us about 4 hours to get to the top. Way before we ever got to the top, we started noticing that we were already above the cloud level, and it was just this incredible experience. Now this hike is not easy, and we actually found out later that both our Airbnb host and our guide were a little concerned about whether or not they thought Ben would make it to the top or not, but man, that kid is a trooper, and he pushed and he did so great. We're really proud of him. We all made it to the top. We all had such a great time. After about 20 minutes at the peak, we had to come down, and that took about 2 hours and posed a whole completely different set of challenges. It's slippery going down, and there are passages where you just have to go fast because stopping gravity was a lot harder than just going with the flow. One of our favorite things to do during our time here at Lake Atitlan was to take a lancha from San Pedro over to another town called San Marcos. In San Marcos, there is this nature reserve, and it is absolutely beautiful, but our favorite part of it was cliff jumping. Stephanie and I are a little bit of adrenaline junkies, so it was really cool to be able to not hold back from doing activities that we love and to be able to share that with Ben. I'll admit, the first few times it was really scary to jump from the cliffs. Even though it was only about 15 feet high, it was still really scary to walk up to the edge and look down, and every single time I went to jump, I still felt that moment of panic, that moment of fear. Even though I'd done it so many times and I knew that I'd be safe. Something that was crazy though is that there was a 42-foot high platform where people were jumping off, and it was really scary to look at. And I'm proud to say that I got to do it a couple of times. Each time it got a little bit easier, but each time it was also incredibly terrifying to walk to the edge. We just loved our time in San Pedro. It had pretty much everything that we could have possibly wanted and so much more, and we spent nearly 3 weeks living in this city. We filled our days with fun and adventure and activity, and by the time dinner time came around every single night, we were just exhausted. So we would come home and make some food. The food in Guatemala is incredible, and the fresh produce, the fresh ingredients, it's so good, and it was so inexpensive. Stephanie made the most delicious meals. She made great breakfasts, she made lunches, she made dinners, she experimented with new ingredients, she tried new things, made new dishes. It was just so good, and I'm just really grateful for this entire experience. And I'm not ready for it to end, but we gotta go back. And luckily, we are headed back to a very full schedule of shows for the rest of August and into September. So I feel really good about that. I know we're going to be busy. I know time's going to fly. And next thing you know, we're going to be boarding our next ship. So super excited about all that. I'm just really bummed to leave here. And I just had the best time. And again, I'm just so grateful for the experiences that I got to have, and the experiences that I got to share with my wife, and the experiences that we got to share with Ben. All right, well, it's time to start heading to the gate, so I'm going to be announcing our next ship here in a couple of days, so make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you've had a good time here with us. If you have any questions about Guatemala or our next ship or whatever, feel free to drop that in the comments below. See you in the next one.